Well, I want to thank everybody for showing up today. As you guys know, Boyd's giving a presentation on Facebook groups and specifically how to use them properly and how to build them, I guess, and how to use them because there's different types of groups or following you have. I mean, if you have a fans or a group or whatever. So he's going to clear all that up for us. I want to introduce my friend, Boyd Peterson. He's a well-known published author. He has several different types of books, and you should ask him to do a one-to-one with him and find out more about what he writes. He writes some biblical fiction, and then he's got some fiction, and then he's just an all-around guy full of words that just need to come out of his mouth. I don't know how he does it, but they just
Thank you so much. Yeah. So.
But he's a businessman. He's an author. He's a family man. He's a grandfather. I'm sure he'll tell you about his grandkids if you ask him. He is an expert on social media, and you guys are all here today to learn about that. I work with him closely on multiple projects, and every time we get engaged in a project or a client has a new request or they need an understanding of how something works, Boyd knows how it works. And so it's a pleasure to work with him. I want to turn the time over to him. So without any further ado, or with all ado, Peterson.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you everybody for coming. And, we were talking the other day, Jim and I, and we were wondering, okay, so we've had more people sometimes and less people sometimes. And we just figure it must be something to do with the summer or something. And so we're hoping this works out good for you. And that this will really help you with especially understanding how groups can work for a business. I was amazed. I was writing a short book. It's about 80 pages long. And it's all about starting to use groups. And so, it'll be available tomorrow actually, but in doing so, I found so many interesting things about groups, and I've been working with groups for years. I've worked with both the LinkedIn and the Facebook groups for years in different areas, and there's some different things that go on with each of them, and we're going to talk about that. I don't usually tell anybody about about me myself, because I've done that several times in this series, but just understand that yes, I am a grandpa, or a granddad, as they all call me, and I have 8 little ones that I love to hang out with, and then I have 6 kids of my own, and unfortunately, all 3 of our girls and their husbands and families are all heading off to other places in 2 weeks. So I'm kind of down on that. Because they're going all over the country. I've always had them right around here, but this too I will survive from. Fortunately, there's social media and Zoom and FaceTime and other things that we're going to have fun doing things with, and we've done a lot of that during COVID-19, playing games over it as a family, and so it was kind of fun. Well, let's get on and get going, because I have a lot of stuff to tell you about, and I don't want to leave anything out. So this is all about social media. It's part of the social media posting and marketing training, and this one is all about groups, how to use them both as somebody who goes to a group and belongs to a group, and then also if you have a group or are thinking of creating a group. So we're going to cover both of those today. So we're going to first start off about talking about using groups to build your business. There's all kinds of different types of groups out there, and I've just grabbed a few of them that I am actually a member of, and I just brought them all in here, so you're going to get to see them. And many of you will recognize them as local groups. Some of them are national groups. Some of them do different things, than the others. And so I wanted to let you know about what they are all about. And so we're going to start with talking a little bit about groups, and you'll see that I'm going to be playing with the movie.
Yes. You need to share your screen.
Oh, I'm not sharing it.
Oh, I'm getting a.
I'm sorry. Well, let's go back so you can actually see. screen for, I know what I did. So hold on.
It'll be more interesting with the PowerPoint.
Yeah, it would. So let's share that. And there we go. I am sorry. I thought I was sharing it and I hadn't.
There you go. You're
Now
good.
you're getting it. Okay, good. So anyway, these are some examples of different screenshots of different groups that I belong to. This one's a national group, and it's a LinkedIn group. And I'll tell you about some of the stories on each of these in a little bit. This is an entrepreneur group. This is a national group that I've worked with. This is a local group here. And then here's another local group that many of you that are on these calls have seen, because that's where I hang out a lot. Here's another one that is more about entrepreneurs. This one is all about building businesses and connecting with other people, kind of like what Connect Utah and TLC is about. And then this is one of my own groups that I have, which is a group about understanding how to post better. And so we're going to talk a lot about different types of groups and what their purposes can be, and if it's a good fit to belong to them, and also how to use them when you belong to them, and then also what you can do once you, if you have your own group as well. So today I'm going to talk about the types of groups that you can belong to. There are membership groups. Usually they have an approval. Some are findable, some are hidden, and so that's why I put both of them up there. Some of them allow you to post, some of them don't. Some of them you can only do limited posting. We're going to talk about those as we go along. Some are chats only, where you can go in and somebody will have posted a question, and it is all about questions, and then you can chat on that. And that's it also, there's a version of that that's discussion only, where the moderator puts out the questions only, and then it's discussed and you can discuss on it. There's some that are limited use. We'll discuss that a little more as well. So let's get started with some of this. I'm going to use some of these groups that I took pictures of just simply to help break things up, because I got sometimes a couple of these slides are really long because there's so much I have to tell you about on it. Okay, but first off, let's talk about the advantages of group posts over, or let's see, advantages of group posts over page posts. So there's a big difference between these two. So pages like your business page versus a group that you might have, or a group that you belong to. On pages, only a few people are going to see it, no matter how many you have following you. Now, I would like to have people send in on the chat, and Jim, you can just tell me what they're saying, because I don't have the chat up on my screens right now. But what I'm looking for is, what do you think is the difference between them? On regular business pages, why do you think it's only a few people are going to get to see that? And I've actually said this a couple times in a couple meetings, but I'm just gonna actually tell you on this one, and that is that there are, with pages, it's kind of like a web page. In fact, Facebook, they used to treat business pages just like they do individual pages. And when they first started, anybody who was following or liked your page, they would see your post. It would be in their
Wait, there's a couple of responses that are worth noting.
Okay, let's have that.
The first one is, it talks about an algorithm. They believe there's an algorithm at play.
Yeah,
Another
there
one
is.
that says because Facebook wants money. And another one says because it feeds into your groups that you're members of. And another one that's very insightful says because it only posts once.
Okay.
That was from Michael Westover. So there's some great feedback.
Good. Those are really good. In fact, let's talk about all of those things. So here's the bottom line. When when Facebook they were looking at how people were starting to create Facebook business pages, and they weren't having web pages, and so it was a way of being cheap, having just the Facebook page. Well, they looked at it and they says, you know what? They should be paying for getting people to them, just like they do on websites. So they made it so that no one gets to see it unless you have people who are liking it, sharing it, and commenting on it. Now, liking it keeps you on it for a little bit. Sharing a page gets you on there for a lot longer. And then if you comment on it, it gets you there for a lot longer as well. And so you can have quite a few people if they're on your page and they're all saying, hey, I love this, I am commenting on it, and you're commenting back. You'll get a lot of people, but most people don't do that. Most people, they just go in and they look at it. They're the looksy-loos. And when that happens, they have to go to your page to see what you have, because it's not going to show it to them generally unless they have liked, shared, or commented on it. Okay, so you can actually get 0 and have thousands of people who are saying they are following, because no one has gone in and done one of those 3. Now on a group though, one of the cool things about a group is if you post something in there, groups are now pushed up above almost anything else. So if you belong to a group and I post something to, let's say, the TLC or the Connect Utah group, then suddenly it's going to be in there higher in priority than my business page. And so, but everything that is posted in there is there. So you can see all of the group posts if you go down far enough. Sometimes group posts can be very long, and we'll discuss why this is in a few minutes. But understand that everything that you post onto a group will show there. In fact, some people have said, "Boyd, you're everywhere." Well, yeah, all I did was I posted to 6 different groups, and you are in all 6 of them, so you see it 6 times. Or if I post to 12 times, whatever it might be. That is how you get out to them, and it does give you, it does post to all of those 12, or to your account for all those 12 groups that you're in. And so that's why sometimes you see me in a lot of places, and it's the same thing over and over and over. But that's how you get your message out as well. It's very important to do this. Now, a couple of other things though, and I'll mention it now, and then we're going to talk about it more in a bit, is when you are in a group, if you have, oh, well, wait a minute here. It says it right on the very next one. Everyone in the group will see that you have posted something. If they have their notifications turned on, they'll get a notification that Michael Michael Westover has posted something to Connect Utah South Valley, for example. Or it'll say, and it'll tell me all of the times when somebody posts to it. Now, here's the key though. It'll tell me when they're people that are friends of mine and in the group. If you're not if you're not a friend of mine, it won't tell me unless I've turned on that notification. So the notifications are friends and in a group, or anybody in the group, or just friends. And then it does it differently for each one of those. And those are important things to understand. So getting your message out is stronger if you're going to a group. Now, one of the things though I tell people is don't post directly to a group. Post directly to your business page and then share it from the business page to a group. The main reason why, and this I covered last time, 2 weeks ago in my class, and that the reason why is when you post to your business page and then share it, all the statistics come to your business page. Where if you post it to the Connect Utah South Valley page, where you connect it to the Neon page or to the whatever group you're on, you have to go to that, and then you'll only see just its information. Where if you go the other way, you can actually break it down and you can see a consolidated report of all of the people who shared it, all the people who have liked it, all the people, and you can actually break it out by the different groups if you want, so you can see which groups are working for you. where the other way, you got to remember all the groups that you put that post in and posted it to. So use a business page to initially post, and then you send it out to all the groups. Then that gives you a lot better control as well. Okay, so now let's talk about some tips about using the groups. These are some things, and I know that some of you will have other tips. I'm going to have a time where you can actually give us those tips for everybody to use. So posting to groups, if you're posting to a group that is allowed to post, there's a few things you need to know. You need to know how often you can post. Like in Connect Utah or TLC, if it's about your business, you're promoting something of your business, whether it be a webinar, seminar, an offering of any type that is specific to promoting your business, you can do it once a day. Well, there are some others that will allow you to do it more often, and there's some that will only allow you to post those type of posts one day a week.
Boyd, I
Tell
think
you
there's
what day of the week it is.
Boyd, there's
Yes.
a question here about spamming rules. I think specifically they're curious, how does a manager of a group control how many times somebody can post a day?
Okay, so we'll cover that when we get to the actual group itself, if you're going to build one, because that's part of the structure behind that. And so I'll tell them, remind me later if I don't mention it, but I will. I should then. Is that all right? Good. I hope so.
Yes.
Okay, so you're allowed to do certain posts. Like I was on one, and it was driving me nuts because I'd post to it and they'd say, this post has been denied. And I'm going, it says that I can post. And I finally sent a message to one of the administrators, and she says, oh, you're only allowed to post things about your business on Sundays between noon and 4. I'm going, okay. Noon and 4, whose time? And she's in England. So to me, that's I would have been asleep until I was just waking up at 4 o'clock at 4 o'clock to them is 8 o'clock in the morning to us. So you got to know the criteria, and each of the groups will have their own criteria of how you can do this. Now, in the case of like TLC and Connect Utah, if you have posts that are kind of funny things or informational or quotes that are cool, even some of your personal stuff, they'll allow you to post that more than once a day because it's not promoting your business. And so understand the rules of each of the groups that you belong to. I have several that, I had one that got really angry with me and shut me off. And I'm going, why did you shut me off? Because you were posting too much. And I said, how much is too much? More than once a week. Oh, okay. And this is on a site that the person who owns it posts at least once an hour. And so she never put it anywhere in the rules and regulations for the group. That was her own rule that she made. So, and you have to know what you can post, as I mentioned. Is there a specific time or date you can post? We talked a little bit about that. Post date, and if you have that capability, post daily on Connect Utah, TLC, any of the others that are designed for that, post as often as you can. Now, do not post over and over about the same thing unless it's an event. Events are the only times you can just post all about the event. But even then, you want to break it up from time to time. Like I had the event today coming up, and so I posted, I think once at about 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock, but I also posted about it's National Cheesecake Day. So I threw a video up, and then I also have some other posts. And so you can make sure you split it up and don't post the same thing all the time, but it's good to do that if you're doing like a webinar, but don't do it for 3 weeks every day. Spread it out, and then the last 2 days, then, yesterday, day before yesterday, and today you can post. Okay, and most people will be good with that. So now some sites will allow you to post some great sayings, and I mentioned this as well about Connect Utah and TLC will do that. In fact, TLC will also allow you to post about other events that are coming up on other networking groups, where some, like in the case of Connect Utah, you're not allowed to promote any other networking group. And so just understand the rules is the bottom line. Okay, and then use those from
Wade,
time to time. Yes.
there's a couple other questions that are kind of going on here. One says that he's tried sharing from my groups to Facebook, but they've been blocked 24 hours. Is there workarounds for that?
Okay, so he's going from where to where?
Says he tried sharing from my Facebook business page, my groups, but Facebook blocked me for up to 24 hours. Any workaround?
Okay, so what happens with that is if they feel like you're using too high of density of words, like I did this a couple weeks ago, and I'm going, oh, duh, I should know that. I had too many words on an image. And when you do that, and their algorithm is scanning the image, even though most times they can't read it, although now they're getting so good they can. If it's got too many words on, it will go to being to a human being who is going to look at it and decide whether it can go or not. So the key is try to use fewer words on your post. Now, if it is just simply a picture, there are a couple of times, like I had a customer, she's over in Italy, and she is a workout coach. Well, she had a before and after picture of one of her students, the before, the girl's in a big t-shirt and big sweatpants, and the after was, I think it was like 3 or 4 months later, she had lost 44 pounds. And she was in a bikini. Facebook blocked it because they said this could be construed as inappropriate. And so she went back and had to have the girl take a picture in a t-shirt and in shorts, and suddenly it was fine. So you've got to be careful with some of their regulations. There are regulations there. And so sometimes when you post to your personal, you can get away with things. It's when you're posting onto groups, they start looking at everything that you do. And so just be careful of that. If you post to your personal, they're watching it. But if you post to your business, not so much. So you can get away with a lot.
There's another question.
Yes.
The chat box is on fire.
Good, good.
Michael Westover is asking about automation specifically. Is there a way that we can get around and use automation to post to multiple groups at the same time?
Okay.
I think I know the answer, but you're the expert.
Okay, so Facebook does not want anyone to use automation. Now, there is one program that I'm aware of that will post to groups, but you can't post to more than 2 groups the same thing before you'll get blocked. What Facebook wants you to do is they want it to be a personalized thing going to the groups. And so, in fact, most groups right now aren't allowing businesses in, they are allowing the person in. And so, like when I go to post from my business account, I have to go in and say I'm posting as Boyd Peterson, not as BP Media. And then all of a sudden I have a whole lot more of the places I can post to. Connect Utah is one of those. You have to be a person, not the business. And so, but yes, it's really difficult to automate going to groups. You have to manually do it because they want that personal touch. They want you to be in the group or know that you're going to that group. And so it's kind of hard, but it is what it is. It's their way of doing it. And like I said, there is one program that I know of that I use occasionally for a couple of people. But if you do more than 2 of any post, Facebook will shut you down for 24 hours. And then as long as you keep to 2, there you're all right. But that's it. Okay. So if you have any other questions on that, feel free. Just holler them out or get them to Jim. Okay, next thing is just don't post offers all the time, especially to groups. Okay, now offers as in, I had somebody the other day that I had to, on my group, I had to ask them not to be posting all the offers. That's all he was posting. And I said, no, you got to add some other things to it. And he did. And it works out much better. And he says, boy, I'm getting more results. And I'm going, yeah, that's how it works. You get more results when you don't post offers. I covered this last week, but it's worth mentioning again today. There are three things people do all the time, and they are bad. They always post the same thing, and it's they post either offers. Nobody likes to be pushed and sold to all the time. Second one is they're only doing education. Educate, educate, educate. Well, that's great too, but you're educating people, and then if you don't give them an offer from time to time or do some other things, they're going to find it elsewhere when they're ready to buy. The third one is things that are whimsical all the time. You need to break up your stuff with whimsical stuff. That can be quotes from Elon Musk or Steve Jobs or Benjamin Franklin. It could be photos or things like we do what is called a Happy Friday. Hey, it's Friday. What what are you going to do to unwind for the weekend? Hey, it's Monday, and these are mostly motivational things. Hey, you've got several doors in the pictures of 5 different colored doors. And it says today you have the choice of many choices, and what door you choose to open will determine how your week goes. So choose wisely. And so it's things like that. Those, if you just only do that, it's okay, but it's not going to build your business. Okay, so don't just do just offers um, or any of those others. Do promote webinars, seminars, put testimonials up there. Internet reviews. Those are really strong, and you should be doing those and putting them over there. In fact, when I was putting this together, I'm going, oh, I haven't done an internet review in a long time on either my regular page or on any of the groups. So just do that too. Inspire them with a video from time to time. Get in front of them. Let them know who you are, and let them hear you from time to time. Tell them about other success stories that you've got of helping someone. Maybe they didn't give you a testimonial, but you can tell the success stories. It's a case study kind of thing. Then you should always invite others in the group to like your pages, like Facebook or website. It could be a LinkedIn page. It could be any of them. Now, most of this I'm talking more Facebook, but these all work the same with Facebook and LinkedIn. So understand that. There are some differences, and I'll get to some of the differences here in a little bit. Do a survey or poll, and there is a difference between a survey and a poll. And if you want to find out what that is, you can go on to Google, or you can call me and I'll tell you. Okay, post some quotes, especially if you have some of your own quotes. I started doing this a few years ago, and now every once in a while I have a program that tells me when somebody posts something that is one of my quotes and they've given me credit for it. It comes up and says, hey, your quote was used on so-and-so's site. And I have some big national names that have used some of my quotes now, and so that's pretty cool. But put those in, and if you're not putting it out there, nobody's ever going to know it was you that said that. And then share who you are looking for that you would like them to help you find so that you can work with them. Okay, these are important things. In groups, it is much more about helping them understand how they can help you. Now, not all. Some groups are specifically for a company, and the company is all about educating, and we'll go into that more of the outline. But that's something you got to be looking at. Now, here's a few more tips. If you're not allowed to post in a group, which there's a social media one that's Reddit. When you're first on there, they don't allow you to post for the first, I don't know, 2 or 3 months. I don't remember what it was. And they only allow you to actually answer 2 people a week. I didn't know that, and I got kicked off for 3 months because I answered 4 people's uh, questions. And so it drove me nuts. So how often are you allowed to comment? And you have to keep your comments to the subject. They are very mindful of that. If you try to bring in your own stuff or try to sell your own stuff, and there's a lot of trolls out there that do this, they will throw them out. So keep the comments to the subject. Alignable, LinkedIn, and another company, I can't think of who else it was, ask me to come up with questions all the time, and then they want me to comment on them as well, because they're, I've become one of their stalwarts in being able to do that kind of stuff, and it gives me some notoriety to the industry. Okay, now be the expert in the room, but not the know-it-all. I hope you understand what that means. Be able to help people along, but not that you're the person that everyone goes, oh, here he goes again. Oh, can he shut up for a bit? So be careful of that. Visit daily to answer questions if you can. Sometimes I'm only on, like Alignable, I'm only on there maybe twice a week to help out with that. But if you go there on a regular basis and answer the questions, and pretty soon you're going to get people commenting on it, and you comment back, and pretty soon you got a great discussion going. So it's something good to do. The next thing is general ideas to get more people to know what you can offer. So you go to the groups page daily. On your phone, it's easy. On your computer, it's harder because on different ones because, well, LinkedIn gets to be hard to find the groups, and they don't combine them all your groups into one. On Facebook, you have one button that you click and it brings up all the groups, and then you have all the groups listed on the top, and you can click on one group at a time. I go to the consolidated one because I can go through a lot of them very quickly. But go to there daily and see what's going on. And likes are not as strong. It's great to like something, but let me give you an idea. So let's say that they give you a score of between 1 and 5. Likes are a 1. When you share something, it's a 4. When you comment, it's a 4. And if you want to get a 5, you get like, comment, and share. So, and it might be a 3 on some of those, but it's always best to see if you can comment on things. Now, here's something else I'm going to tell you. This is on anything in Facebook. If you find somebody you would really like to have them follow you, then and you feel that your message is going to resonate with them, go find some of their posts, comment on them. 5 words or more will get their attention. Here's why. Uh, Facebook sees that if you're going to comment more than great idea or that's awesome, they say, well, that's just a throwaway. But if you go on there and you say, now this really stands out to me, I really appreciate you, well, suddenly they're going, oh, this is Facebook. They're going to say, you like this person, and hopefully the person will like you. But whether they like you or not, just a minute, let me finish this and then you can ask. Whether they're finished or not, they are, whether they're, let's see, now you got me off on finish. Whether they like you or not, Facebook's going to start showing your posts to them for a few days. And if they don't do anything with it, then it'll drop back off. But that's how you can get in front of some of these people to see if you can get them to like you as well. Go ahead, Jim.
There's nothing here. I was just coughing.
Oh, sorry. Okay, never mind. Phew. Thought I had another question. Okay, and this is comments bring posts up to the top if you use 5 or more words, and you want to be doing that. So let me give you an example. If you're on a group and you see somebody's post there, and you say, "Ooh, that's a great post," write 5 words. It'll put it back up to the top of that group's listings. Now, here's the other side of that. If you if somebody comments on yours, don't immediately comment on it again. Give it a little bit of time. Oh, here, it's my next thing. When someone comments on your post, leave it for a bit and then comment back. What does it do? It brings you back to the top again. So this is a way of keeping you on the top of it if people keep commenting and you keep commenting back and forth. And it's a great way to do it. Now, the thing I had in the middle of it is see a great post you feel your followers would love, share it. Share it all you can. Now, let me tell you, on groups, when you look at it, it doesn't have a share button. If you click on the image, it will actually be grabbing the image from the original page that it was on, and then you can share it. And you can share the whole post. But you got to click on it before you can see the share button. Okay? So, and then one of the last things you want to do is teach people about your unique value proposition. If you don't know what that is, get a hold of me, get a hold of Jim. We talk about this all the time, but a unique value proposition. What sets you apart from your competition? Okay. Now, I need to get in to the second part of this because I'm running out of time. Should you create a group of your own? And this is going to answer some of those other questions as well. And so here's the top ways you can use a group for your business. Number one, and they're in not really any order because there are a lot of every one of these, as a membership reward. I have a lot of companies that I work with that's what they do. They say, hey, you want to belong to our community? You can ask all of the other people that are doing the same thing as you about how they're doing it, and we'll get on there and answer questions too. So as a membership reward is what that is. Think of it as a VIP type of page, and let people know, hey, you're getting invited into our VIP. Make a deal out of it, and people will pay attention to it. Now, they don't have to accept that, but you can offer it, okay? And those that take that are going to be more engaged than those that are just put into it. So don't just put somebody into it. Ask them if they would like to be and let them do it. Okay, next one is customer feedback or a market research page. There's a lot of companies that'll, in fact, I just saw one the other day for a book that's coming out from someone I know, and they were saying, hey, we're going to have this Facebook group to help me decide on the cover, decide on the titling, and decide on how I should put the back page together. And so they use it for feedback and market research. I've seen this from a lot of different companies using this type of thing. So you can actually have a group that's just for that. And once it's done, you can close the group out if you wish. And so I see that happening all the time. Competitions and promotions. If you want to do a competition, I had a person that did a competition about how to write your intromercial. That if anybody was at TLC last week, I talked about intromercials. Well, there's a lady who taught me about it, and I've taken most of what she says, but she has a competition with that. And so it's kind of fun to get in there. And then she said, she gives that competition and she gives you true feedback as to, here's how you can even improve that. And it works out good. And now promotions, you can do the same thing. Saw someone do one for Cricut, not the phones, the cutting things for people who are into scrapbooking. And they did a promotion like that. They were asking people to submit ideas for pages. Well, what they did was they took those ideas and then they started creating them themselves and made them into products. But they did the promotions, and anybody that they did make into a product, they got special prizes for it. And they knew right up front that's what they were going to do. Events are a great one. I see this all the time. People use it for a concert or a seminar or whatever it might be. You can have a group that just is for that to help promote it. When I was doing National Newspaper Association conventions, I was trying to do that with Facebook at the time. but Facebook hadn't figured out groups well enough to do much with it.
Hey,
Now I
Boyd,
help them do some of that. Yes.
a quick question on events or groups that you mentioned before, cycling them in and out. How long does the name that take for the name to be able to be reused or something, or if you're waiting to use somebody's
Okay,
name?
so if you're going to use the name, like the lady that does the intramural competition, every 4 months, she just simply drops everybody off without dropping the name. And then in order to get back into it, you have to sign up for the next competition. So you don't even have to give up the name. If you do give up the name, it's between 30 and 60 days. But be careful with that, because if it comes available and somebody's watching for it, there's programs that'll do that. They'll pick it up before you can. And then they use it any way they want. And they know that people knew it from you, so they've taken over. So I don't recommend, closing it out completely if you're going to be using it over and over and over. The country festival that they have out here in Tooele every summer that didn't happen this year, that one is, they keep it open, and every year they drop everybody out, or sometimes they don't even drop them out. They just simply tell everybody about it. So it's up to the promoter as to how they do it. Okay, so I hope that answers the question. Special offers, this can be, a good example of kind of this same type of thing is Indiegogo. I mean, they're not exactly that, but I see offers like an Indiegogo offer on this, on Facebook groups, and it's so people can come in and they can actually ask questions about it. They can find out more about it. Find out how it was developed, all these kind of things. And so it can be a cool program as well. Topic groups are what most businesses use. They use a topic that grabs people's attention and gets them into it. And you want to find the right topic for them. I have a page here that talks about picking the right niche that you're going after or the topic you're going to use. And, I look at it and it tells me what the top 10 are. Dieting is the top one. Go figure. Recipes is number 2. Dogs, no, I'm sorry, cat people. Cats are number 3. In fact, cats are number 11 on the list. So that gives you an idea though. But if you have, like, Jim and I work with a company that's putting out a new product here in a few months, and it's a water filtration. So we're going to put together a group that'll talk about clean water and everything to do with clean water, and we'll build on it from there. Okay, so topics are what most businesses use. So advertising, we have people who, well, in fact, when I'm still in several groups on the newspaper association type groups, and they're always talking about how to advertise, and they share advertising tips back and forth. And so it's kind of the topic group, but they also get a lot of advertisements in there from people who are trying to sell to the newspaper industry. And then internal uses, there's a lot of people who use a group just for their own internal use. GE has a little over 50,000 people in their group, but in order to get into the group, you have to be an employee of GE. But it's all about building the GE mentality and getting everybody to like each other. Walmart had one for a while. I don't know if they still do. I don't have anybody who is in that anymore, but Walmart put that together. Sam's Club did for a time. Costco did. So it was all for just their employees, and they were able to say, hey, we're having this kind of a problem, and somebody in another store would say, oh, we had that too, but here's how we took care of it. Okay, well, let's get on with some more stuff here. So all of these different things, are they're different types of tips. What kind of tips do you have that you can share with this group that might help us? So put them in the chat right now, if you would. I only have a few minutes before I need to continue on. In fact, why don't you put them in the chat? And Jim, if you'll just send them out through the chat so everybody can see them. I'm going to continue on because I'm going to run out of time otherwise. Okay, so here's some things about having your own group. The power of Facebook and LinkedIn group lies in their ability to engage directly with the followers, fans, and customers. Okay, now I don't generally like to read all of these things, but I'm going to let you read some of them. But there's some differences between these things, and one of the key things is with a page post, it can be seen by non-followers in networks, but group ones are only visible to the members of that group. So no matter if you have notifications turned on, if you're not a part of the group, you're never going to see it. And so it's something, and that is a good thing in most cases. But there's some other things here. Now, the post will appear on the members' feeds. It'll give it to everyone. We will be you're given more importance for these posts than just standard posts, unless you've been liking and sharing Aunt Marble's recipe. That might finally show up above your group posts. Okay, but generally the group posts are going to show up because most people, when they're in a group, the groups are designed so that they're all about a subject. They're drawing people in. Now, there's a lot of places like Pinterest that has a lot of subject type things, but this is where you get a whole bunch of people together and they share ideas and they talk back and forth. And that's what this is all about. When you create your own page, you set up how they're going to interact, how they're going to communicate, and you will get more engagement if you will work with something like this. Now, the key is it generally attracts true fans rather than just those that are curious about what you sell, what you're talking about. And then these followers will invite more followers. They'll invite their friends that have the like interests. So if you're doing something that's all about guns, they're going to invite their friends who are all about guns. If it's all about lasagna or other Italian dishes, they're going to invite their friends. Oh, you like Italian dishes? Hey, you ought to get into this group. Those are true fans. They'll start telling people, you need to get into my group. Find out more about it. How to make those cool breadsticks that you get that are even better than going to Olive Garden. Hey, they've got a recipe there. Okay, that's what true fans are about, and you can build true fans through using this. Okay, so now let me. Each of these, I was going to have you identify kind of what these types of are, but I don't have time now, so I'm so sorry. You're going to have to ask me for a one-to-one.
Boyd, there's a question about groups. Is there a limit to the number of members in a group?
Yes, it's over 2 million. That was the last count that I've heard of.
So my fan group is cut off at 2 million?
No, I don't believe there is a roof. I was looking them up last night, and there is one group that has just over 2 million people. They said that it's getting to be unruly, and they're going to split the group, but it's the administration people, not Facebook. I belong to a couple of groups that are over 1 million in them. Most of the ones I belong to are anywhere from 75 to 100, all the way up to 150,000. But I don't think there is a roof. They keep saying there is, but it keeps going up and up. And I think it's all about bandwidth. And with Facebook and LinkedIn, they just keep adding more bandwidth so they can put more people in.
That's good news, because I was afraid my fan club was maxed out.
Well, now if you're on a personal page, it will max out at 5,000.
Oh.
So you don't have to worry for a long time.
Okay.
So, all right, now let me ask you a question. Would you rather have 1 million people in a group that occasionally look at the post but don't really read them? Or would you rather 100 people in there that follow, read, and consume everything you put out? And they are also the ones who will be buying. Okay, these are the true fans, and that's what a group can do. Don't go after 1 million people that don't care about it. That you can do with your business page. What you should be looking at is going after a group of true fans who are in a group for a reason, whether they like you, your business, what you stand for, some element of your business. Like in the case of the water treatment people, it's all about clean water, and that's what they're looking for. They're not looking for people who are, anything else. They're not. They could be hunters. They could be people in their homes. It doesn't matter as long as they have the idea. I want to know more about clean water. Okay, and so the next one is the big advantages. You can get your customers to feel like they are part of a community, not just a customer. And this is a cool thing. It's kind of like I went to a sprinkler supply place a few weeks ago, and I was standing in there and I'm trying to describe to them what I'm looking for. And pretty soon I have 5 or 6 customers and 5 or 6 people trying to figure out exactly the product that I have in my mind, but they couldn't visualize it very well. I guess I wasn't explaining it very well. Although I sat down and drew it, and I'm still going, haven't seen anything that's like that for a while. Doesn't matter. This got everybody excited to find what I was looking for. And all of a sudden, one of the customers said, he turns around and right behind him on one of the end caps, he says, it's right here, but it's sideways, so we didn't see what it was that you were trying to say. But he recognized it. And this is what it's about. It's getting all the customers to talk together as well as talk with you. So it helps them be part of a community, not just an individual that's talking to the company. Allows them to also communicate directly with you, and others will have the same questions as a lot of these people, and how you answer them will help them too. And that builds trust. Okay. The next thing is it's about building a tribe. And you may have heard about building a tribe. If you don't know what a tribe is, then get with me. Let me talk to you about it. But it does. It builds a tribe because it is all about a community that is pulling together for a common good, or for a common interest in this case. Direct communications with your customers. I mentioned that a minute ago, when they can communicate directly with you. You can also say, hey, guess what we're doing? And, oh, hey, we're going to have this customer appreciation barbecue, or whatever it might be, and it'll be just for those customers. Or if you have others that are in it, you can have it so that they come too and take advantage. And what does that do? It builds the trust with them, so that they'll want to do business with you once they're ready to do it, to buy whatever you're selling. And then with LinkedIn, one of the cool things that they do is once a week, if you post something and you put it and you're the administrator, you can post it and it'll email out to everybody that's in that group. Now, I used to write for one of the groups in that. I had to bow out because I'm kind of distanced from that group now, and I don't know quite as much as what some of the other people were doing. But I was able to communicate once a week, and I did that for 60 weeks. We posted something, and we built a company that was, we were answering questions and doing all kinds of things, but once a week I would put out something that talked about building your newspaper business. And it did really well for them. We went from about, I think when I started, we had about 1,200 people who were following it. And when I ended, so about 13, 14 months later, we had just over, it was probably about 30,000 people following us that are in the newspaper industry, which is a small industry compared to some of the other big ones that are out there. But they liked it. They wanted that. Okay. Now there's all kinds of other things I could tell you about on this. I'm running out of time, so I'm just skipping right here to the end. I do have a booklet, or a guide, I'll call it. It's about 9 or 10 pages, I think, that I've written. It's all about the 5 secrets to building an engaged Facebook group. If you're interested in building your own group, this book is really for you. And it gives you some of the things that you're going to want to do. And so it's free. I'll give it to you for free. Now, I do have a more comprehensive book that as I said, it'll be out tomorrow. And I can't even remember what we finally ended up with the title of it, but oh, it's right there. Oh my goodness, my other computer is really slow today. So no, it didn't come up. Anyway, I'll have that book available as of tomorrow. That one will be for sale, but it's not very much. So, but this is for free, and this are the 5 necessary secrets that you really need to get an engaged Facebook group going. And the other one will go into a lot more detail, but this will get you going on it. So if you're
Wait a
interested,
minute, Boyd.
yes.
You're going to give everybody this free book if they just send an email to
So they get this.
info@bpmedia.com.
Yes, that's
So
exactly it. So they'll get
it's
this.
info@bpmedia.com for a free
Correct.
book.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
What a
this
deal.
is a more of a guide than a book. I don't call a book until it's about 35 pages or more, but this does give great information, and it goes more in depth of what I've talked about today, and so you're going to like this. In fact, you'll get it, and you're going to go, "Oh my gosh, this is so," because it does go into more detail about some of these things.
So what's that email address again?
info@bp, which stands for big picture, media.com. Okay. Okay, and then and here's what this guide covers. So the 5 secrets we put into it. Exclusivity, it talks about that. It talks about early buzz, how to get it going, making sure you've got the right name, the right image, and the right niche for what you're working with. Empowering members. Now, somebody asked me about how do you monitor things. You empower some of the members so that they can be kind of the watchdogs to help you. It's not always one person who's watching everything to make sure you're only doing 1 post a day. You empower others. Now, you got to be careful. You don't want somebody who's a militant doing it, but you find people who are willing to help out and then encourage people to do it the right way. Okay. And then the last one is informed consent. Informed consent is really important. If you're going to ever make offers on your group, you want to be able to tell people that we're going to, by joining this group, you're going to get information about all of this and this and this and that and that. Plus, from time to time, you're going to get some exclusive offers as a VIP member. Now, as long as you put that in there, then all of a sudden they're going, okay, we understand there'll be offers, and you can't do offers all the time. I told you that right up front. You can't be doing that, but you've got to get consent. Otherwise, you're going to lose a whole lot of people. That was one of the things that we learned with the newspaper group. We were offering some classes that were $25, $30. People jumped off and said, oh, we won't do this. So we put in this informed consent type form, and everybody who joined then understood we were going to be letting them choose if they'd like it or not. And we had very, very little people that dropped off unless they were moving out of the industry. Now, here's my information. If you want to get a hold of me directly here to find out more about the upcoming webinars, like next Tuesday, Jim is going to be teaching another seminar or webinar about SEO. He started this a few weeks ago, and he's now up to number 3. And so be sure to show up for that. And you can go to bpmedia.com/seminars to find out more about it and to register. And then there's my complete information. And if that QR code there, if you put that up, do that with your phone, it will download my information. And there's even a short video there that tells a little bit more about what I do. So anyway, thank you very much. Any questions? Any other things there?
I think we've covered everything that was in the chat.
Okay,
There's
good.
nothing. Oh, hang on. Hey, awesome. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Good. Well, thank you everybody for being here, and I hope that this gave you some good information. So thank you, and we will talk again. I gotta stop sharing, don't I? There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Thank you.